Well, if you have landed on this video, let me ask you a question. You know what's strange about Straw Hats? Well, if not, let me tell you. They don't feel like a normal anime crew. And I don't mean that in the usual they are unique kind of way. I mean they feel emotionally real in a really uncomfortable way sometimes. Like, think about it. Zoro spends most of his time alone. Nami acts stressed even when things are peaceful. Robin talks about death like it's normal. Sanjay disappears whenever emotions get involved, and Usopp literally creates fake version of himself constantly. And the weird part is, Oda almost never directly explains any of this. He just keeps showing it again and again and again and again. And after rewatching One Piece, I started realizing something. I don't think the Straw Hats stayed with Luffy because he fixed their lives. I think they stayed because he was the first person who made them stop surviving alone. Well, let's take example of Zoro here. Most people look at Zoro and think loyalty, right hand man, sword man. But honestly, I think Zoro sees Luffy very differently from the rest of the crew. For example, during War 7, the crew completely fall apart emotionally. Usopp challenges Luffy, Nami is emotional, Chopper's confused, and everybody reacts like friends fighting each other. Except Zoro. Zoro immediately starts talking about respect, authority, and what happens to a crew if people stop believing in their captain. Because Zoro is not thinking emotionally there. He's thinking about what happens if the person carrying everybody's dreams start collapsing. And later during the thriller arc, when Kuma appears, Zoro does it again. He takes Luffy's pain onto himself almost automatically. Not for praise, not for attention. He does not even tell the crew. Like carrying suffering for the captain become normal to him. And honestly, I think Zoro understands something nobody else wants to admit. If Luffy fails, everybody's dreams dies with him. And then there is Nami. I honestly think people misunderstood Nami completely. People joke about her that she loves money, or being controlling, or always yelling at the crew, but honestly, I don't think Nami ever fully believes peace is going to last. And once you see that, her entire personality starts feeling different. During Orlok Park, Nami finally reaches the point where she completely breaks. For years, she believed she could save everybody alone. She worked for the same man who destroyed her childhood. She stole money, lied to people, carried everything herself, and kept telling herself if she just suffered long enough, everybody would finally be free. Then Arlong steals the money away. Everything she sacrificed was now gone. Her village was still trapped, her life still controlled, and suddenly Nami realizes something terrifying. No matter how hard she tried, she was never actually in control. Because that symbol stopped being just Arnol anymore. It became proof that all her suffering meant nothing. And honestly, I don't think Nami ever fully recovered from living like that. That's why she panics so quickly, why she overprepares constantly, why she gets angry everywhere, why she gets angry whenever things become reckless, because Nami behaves like somebody who learned that happiness can disappear overnight. And maybe that's why she trusts Luffy so deeply after Urlop Park, because Luffy is probably the first person who made her feel like peace didn't have to disappear tomorrow. Now coming to Usopp, Usopp's honestly one of the saddest character in the crew, because Usopp spent most of One Piece pretending to already be the person he wishes he was. He calls himself a brave warrior long before he actually becomes one. He invents stories, fake titles, fake confidence. Even Captain Usopp was really just a scared kid trying to feel important. And the thing is, when real danger actually appears, Usopp's fall out. He panics, runs away, breaks down because deep down he knows he's lying. Because most people wait to become confident before believing in themselves. But Usopp does the opposite. He pretends first because he's terrified the real version of himself will never be enough. And slowly, throughout the story, those fake stories start becoming real. The coward stand ups anyway. The liar tells the truth anyway. The fake hero becomes a real one. And honestly, I think Luffy saw that before anybody else did. He treated Usopp like the brave person he wanted to become already existed. And now my man Sanji. Sanji hurts more even after rewatching One Piece. Because Sanji acts like love is something you have to earn. Think about how Sanji treats people. He feeds everybody, protects everybody, sacrifices himself constantly. He gives pieces of himself away all the time. But during Whole Cake Island, you finally realize how unhealthy that becomes. When Sanji feels like his existence is hurting the crew, he doesn't ask for help. He doesn't stay, he leaves. And honestly, that's not strength. That's somebody who genuinely believes their pain should never become somebody else's burden. Sanji almost acts uncomfortable whenever people love him back. Because being needed feels more normal to him. But being loved unconditionally? Sanji almost doesn't know what to do with that. And that's why Luffy refusing to leave Sanji behind matters so much. Because for probably the first time in his life, Sanji meets somebody who values him beyond what he can provide. And then there is Robin. Robin honestly feels like somebody who stopped expecting kindness from the world a long time ago. During Annie's lobby, Robin genuinely believes the Straw Hats are about to die because of her. The world government is coming, a buster cord gets activated, everything happening around her looks exactly like O'Hara all over again. And the disturbing part is, Robin barely panics. She talks quietly and almost sounds emotionally detached from her own death. After rewatching One Piece, that becomes heartbreaking. Because Robin behaves like somebody who learned very young that fear doesn't stop terrible things from happening. So instead of panicking, Robin becomes emotionally quiet. And you see this everywhere with her. The dark jokes, the emotional distance, the calmness during terrifying moments. It's like Robin spent years teaching herself not to emotionally react to pain anymore. And that's why Robin screaming, I want to live, destroys people emotionally. Because Robin isn't just choosing life there, she is finally allowing herself to believe she deserves to stay. And honestly, when you connect all of them together, you start realizing something really beautiful about Luffy. Luffy never actually forces these people to change. He just gave them something they never had before, freedom without emotional conditions. Zoro stopped carrying burden alone, Nami slowly stops expecting peace to disappear, Usopp becomes the person he spent years pretending to be, Sanji learns he can be loved without sacrificing himself, and Robin finally stops waiting to be abandoned. Maybe that's why the Straw Hats still feels more human than most anime crews. Because Oda never wrote them like perfect heroes. He wrote them like damaged people, slowly learning how to live around the right person. And honestly, that's maybe the real reason One Piece feels so alive.